Hey guys, welcome back to Mommy Loves to Read. I'm Olivia and thank you for joining me today. If this is your first time clicking on one of my videos, hi, thank you so much for clicking. I hope you like what you see. And if you are returning and you have watched some of my other videos and that made you want to come back, hey, thanks for coming back. I'm so glad to see you again. So yes, we're going to jump right into this. This is going to be a kind of like April wrap up and how's life been treating me this month of April, a little bit of everything. We're just gonna throw it all together and we're gonna talk. But before we begin, I'm gonna say two things. One, my lovely children have broken my tripod, so I have like rigged this setup here and it's at a weird angle, and my camera is actually sitting on top of a box. So if all goes well, this box will hold it and nothing will fall over and nothing will break. But if it doesn't, we might come back filming this video at another angle. I've been working with the trying to get the angle perfect for like a little bit, and this is as good as it's gonna get. And so I was like, let's just go ahead and start filming. Also, I am using natural light, so I don't know if you guys just noticed, but the sun, it just did a thing, so I got a little darker. So we're just gonna work with it and make it work, and you know, we're gonna make it work. So yes, let's jump right into this. So the month of April, guys, I feel like it was April 1st, it was April 17th, which was my birthday, and then it was May 1st, because I just feel like the month of April just was kind of all over the place. It was here and then it wasn't here. So for me, the month of April was really good. How was you guys this month of April? Today is Saturday when I'm filming this, and I actually decided to watch some YouTube videos. You know, I was watching another video, it was a cooking video, and she was making a joke and saying how like being in this quarantine and this pandemic has made everyone experts in things that they never thought they would be experts in, because since we can't go out, we're at home cooking. Some of us have had to turn into hairstylists, teachers. Well, I have had to turn into a hairstylist, which I always do my daughter's hair, but I don't braid it. I'm not a braider. I'm just not very strong at it. But because of this quarantine, YouTube has taught me. And so YouTube has told me that I'm a professional braider. So we're going to film this video really quickly because I have to take down the braids I did. Y'all, I was really, really proud of myself. I watched a YouTube video and YouTube taught me how to braid. So I braided my daughter's hair. The braids lasted for like 3 weeks, which pat on my back, because I was like, man, I hope I didn't spend like all these hours doing her hair and then it's going to come out in a week. So I'm going to take those braids out and go ahead and do some new braids, and we are going to see how long they last. I want to do them today since it's like the first week of May, and then go ahead and see how long those braids are gonna last her. We'll see. Hopefully we'll get like 3 or 4 weeks, and then I'm going to wash my lovely hair. My hair has been growing, and so I've been trying some new hairstyle, and a while back ago I did a roller set on my hair. So this will be my 3rd time. The first time I did it, I did not let it dry long enough. I don't have a dryer, so I normally air dry my hair, and I was really impatient. I wanted to see how the curls came out, so I went ahead and took the rollers out, and it was not completely dry. So the ones that were dry, the curls were beautiful. The parts where my hair was not dry, they fell like within a couple of days. Second time I did my roller set, Olivia, yay, I let it dry. So the curls turned out a lot better. But the second time I realized I didn't have enough rollers. So although the curls came out really well, I let it dry and the curls lasted for like 2 or 3 weeks. There was just certain areas where like, instead of putting only like 2 locks on a roller, I had to put like 3 or 4. And so the curls were just a lot bigger than I wanted. So I have acquired a whole nother pack of rollers, and today's the day. When I'm done with this, I'm going to wash and set my hair in rollers. I'm going to take my daughter's braids out, wash her hair, and then tomorrow is braid day. So we're probably eating like pizza for dinner because I can't braid hair and cook dinner. So yes, let's hop right into this book review. That was kind of like how my month of April went. It was a really good month. I tried some new things. Like I said, braided my daughter's hair, tried some new recipes, and I also read some really, really amazing books. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys today. But first, we're going to start with the book that was like my least favorite of the month. Now, if you guys watch my TBR, I said I was a little nervous about this book. Let me tell you, I'm not a romance reader. I'm just not. I don't even know. I think this will be considered like contemporary romance. This was my book club pick for the book club this month. I chose this book, so I can't blame anyone but me for this book. I chose this book because I wanted something that was lighthearted, something that was just kind of fun, that we could all read and not really have to think much, just kind of enjoy. And that book did that. This book was definitely a book you don't have to think much to read this. You enjoy it. It's entertaining, but we're going to talk about that. But it still just falls short. And I don't know if it's because I'm not a romance reader, or what. But I was talking to one of my friends who is in the book club with me, and we kind of came to a conclusion. So we're going to talk about that. But let me tell you a little bit about this book. So in this book, you're following Theo and Maddie's relationship. That's what we're going to call it. It's more of like a situationship that turns into a relationship. They are best friends with Alex, who is getting ready to get married. She has Theo to be her bride's man, and she has Maddie to be her bridesmaid. So they're seeing a lot of each other. They don't like each other. The only thing they have in common is that Alex is their friend. Maddie accompanies Alex one night to Theo's birthday party. She doesn't really want to be there, but because that's her friend, she's like, I'm going to support you, because she does not like Theo. Long story short, Theo doesn't have a ride home. Maddie gives Theo a ride. She goes up to his apartment. They have some drinks. And you know what happens next? They have sex. It's amazing. They love it. They wake up the next morning and they're like, oh no, we can't do this because it's going to be bad if Alex finds out all these things. And they say, we're just going to end that. Doesn't happen. They keep on with their situationship. They come up with this idea that, you know what, we'll let this ride out until Alex's wedding, because after that, this will probably fizzle out because we're not really going to see each other anymore. The only reason they're seeing each other as much as they are is because of Alex's wedding. Well, that's pretty much the story. I'm not going to give it all away for those who want to read it, but that's kind of like the gist of it. So let's talk about what I did like. I did like this book that it kind of showed different aspects of friendship. Like I said, Maddie and Theo are both Alex's friends. So it kind of showed how they supported her throughout like this whole wedding process. I thought that was really good. You also do learn some things about Maddie and Theo's growing up, and you kind of learn that they kind of grew up in the same kind of environment. Both grew up with single parents, and kind of how that shaped them and put them into the careers that they are in now. So that was really good. What I didn't like about this book, which me and my friend were talking about, the book is kind of boring. Like, the only part of the books that are exciting and you're kind of like, ooh, that's interesting, are the scenes when they are having sex. But even with that, it's not interesting or anything because it's like really graphic or anything like that. It's just interesting because it's kind of like something fun about it. But like I said, with that, the problem that comes up is obviously with this book, like I said, they have a situationship, so they're having sex a lot, and that is the only interesting part. But even that becomes very repetitive because the way it happens is like the same. They'll order a pizza, they make a few drinks, they'll watch a show, boom, they're in the bed together. Then, okay, we're not going to do that for a couple of days. Then they text each other, want to come over, bring a pizza. We watch a show, we relax, boom, we're in the bed again. And on and on and on and on. And that's pretty much how it happens throughout the whole entire book. So although this book was great for the purposes of like why we picked it for the book club, it just wasn't my favorite. Would I recommend this to someone? I don't know. Maybe if you like romance, you would love this. This is my second book by Jasmine Guillory. And while I liked this one a lot more than the first. The first one I didn't really love that much, which was The Wedding Date. This is The Wedding Party. Yeah, so that was The Wedding Date. This one was it just fell short. So I would probably give this like a 3.5, 4. It's not a terrible book. And like I said, I don't know if I don't love it just because I'm not a big romance person. I don't know. But for me, this is not a book that I would read again, you know? And so, yeah, it was good, but it just wasn't, I guess, it wasn't for me, you know? But I would never have known that if I did not read the book. So I'm glad I got the opportunity to read it. And like I said, will I read it again? Probably not. But hey, I read it. The next book that I read this month was Stay. I read this book because I follow her on Instagram. She said she wrote a book, and I was really excited to read this. This book I did like. Will I say I loved it? I don't know. I very, very much liked this book. The one thing that I liked about this book is she writes from a place of just being very real and raw and vulnerable. This wasn't like this pretty little book of like, here, if you're going through this, here's some tips to help you get through this season of your life. It was like, no, we all go through those crappy seasons in life when it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I have these kids. I don't really know how to parent them. My marriage is not the greatest. Me and my best friend, we're not friends anymore. We got in an argument. I don't have the money to pay my rent. We've been eating ramen for the last 3 months. And this book really just reminds you that even in those seasons, to stay. Stay with that emotion. Stay how you're feeling, even if it's not the greatest, because when you stay in it and you really just kind of like get your boots on and say, I'm going to stay with this. You learn so much from that, and it helps shape you and like propel you to the next level and to the next season of life. And so I really love that about this book. So there were certain chapters in this book that I didn't really relate to just because, but like I said, she's writing about what she's been through. So that's okay. I haven't been through the same things that she's been through, but those really spoke to me. And I feel like this is one of those books where like you can read it now and it'll speak to you, but maybe like 6 months from now, if you're going through something else, that chapter that didn't really speak to you will speak to you. And I think that's really good. I did do a lot of highlighting and annotating this book, and there was like 2 sections in this book where I cried. And you guys, I have not cried and read a book since probably a year and a half ago, the last time a book made me cry. And so I guess that means that's a good book. I would definitely recommend this book. And it was just, like I said, this book was just kind of like really encouraging and remind you, especially like in this season we're in, when we're going through this time of like change and we don't really know what to expect. Like, it's okay to sit with those emotions that come up because of this. Like, if you're angry, it's okay to be angry. If you're sad, if this has been like the best experience of your life and you're like, thank God, this happened, this has been the best for me, it's okay to sit with that emotion and never feel bad or never feel guilty, because like that emotion that you're feeling and how you're feeling, it's okay. And like experience it, do everything that goes along with that emotion, and never forget, because that's going to help you just to move on. So like I said, I love this book. It was really good, and you should read it. The next book I read this month, guys, I can't talk. I'm really excited about this book. That's why. So this was my first ever read from James Baldwin. And guys, I don't know what took me so long to read this book. First off, let's stop and say I want to give a shout out to Lisa over at Infinite Pages. Guys, if you have not checked out her channel, stop right now. Pause this video. Pause. And go subscribe to her channel, because she is amazing. She is just beautiful. I love her channel and I love her. She's just so awesome. We did a buddy read together, and she actually blessed me with a big old box of books, so I was really excited about that. And this is one of those books that was in the box, and I'm so glad that I was able to get my hands on this book and read a James Baldwin book. This will not be my last. This is only the beginning of me and James Baldwin's journey together. In this book, guys, we are following Tish and Phony, and it's like a love story, but it's so much more than that, which is kind of ironic and funny because I just said I don't do romance. But this I could do. I could get with, I could sit with. This book was so good. You're following Tish and Phony, and they've kind of grown up together from the time they were little up until now, and they are like young adults navigating life and in the time that they're in, and kind of like what it means to not only be young, to be in love, to be black, to be a woman, to be a man, and what that really means. And it goes a lot into, it shows you a lot about family. Phony's family is very dysfunctional on so many levels I can't even get into. That's probably like a video in itself, but it just kind of shows how like your family can really shape who you are. And Phony is trying to find like his footing in life, and he's an artist, and he's like this free spirit. And I feel like Tish, she doesn't really know what she wants to do in life. She's a young woman, and all she knows is, I'm in love with this man, and that's the one thing in her life that she knows. And then all of a sudden tragedy hits, and Phony is accused of this crime which he does not do, and it's like something that can really make or break their relationship. And not only that, soon after he is incarcerated, she finds out she's gonna have this baby. And so it's just very interesting how they navigate that, and how like it changes everything for them, but like in a way that causes both of them to grow. And I really just love that. This book had so many powerful points, guys. I highlighted and I annotated away in this book. It was an amazing read. I have not had a chance to watch the movie yet, so hopefully I'll get to do that sometime soon. But it was just, this book, y'all, this book was just amazing. It's just amazing. I'm like looking at this, and it's like one of the things that was in this book. I just opened it to this page, so I'm going to read it. Can you see my green annotating? It says, people make you pay for the way you look, which is also the way you think you look. And what time writes in a human face is a record of that collision. Frank has survived it, barely. And she is talking about the father of Phony, and just how like, have you ever heard that saying, you don't look like what you've been through? I think that's kind of like a play on words of like, sometimes we've been through so much, and sometimes we wear that and sometimes we don't. And how just like the things that you go through in life, they really like affect you. Not only like, how do I say, like they affect you on every level. They can affect like your mental, your physical. And I feel like that book touched a lot on this. Phony, when he first got locked up, he had to kind of sit with what that meant for him, not only physically, like he's behind bars, but how that affected him mentally. And kind of like when he changed his mindset, he was able to, I guess, deal with being locked up, knowing that he didn't do anything wrong. It was kind of like wrong time and wrong place. Being young, being black, and being poor is what kind of got him into this situation. And it was just very interesting to see how they navigated this. And if you have not read a James Baldwin book, please do. You are missing out. Go get one and it will not disappoint. I'm so excited to like read more by this author. So yes, this was a really great read. I'm so glad I read this month. And y'all, the last book I read this month, this book, I love it so much. It is a children's book. I think I probably love it more than my kids do, because I'm always like, guys, you want to read this book? And my kids are like, no, Mom, like, stop reading this book. But I love this book. This book is called Be You, and it's by Peter Reynolds. If you follow me on Instagram, I did a whole post about this book, so I'm gonna try not to be long-winded. But this book, guys, this book, like I said, I feel like I love this book more than my kids. It just speaks to me every time I read this, guys. It makes me so emotional. This book is called Be You, and it kind of just goes into how to be you, just to be you, that you were created to be you. I'm going to show you guys on the very first page of this book. It says, you were born to be you. Oh, it says you were born to be so many things. And all around it, it has like all these words: connected, interesting, strong, ambitious, artistic, philosophical, kind, selfish, a visionary, cheerful, sleepy, brave, dynamic, spiritual, smart. Like just so much in this book. That's pretty much, it takes you on this journey of just reminding you that you were made. Oh, see, my box was about to fall. Oh, and I almost made it fall again. Oh, go. But just to be you. It says, my wish for you, no matter where your journey leads, is for you to always be you. Be ready to take that next step forward towards being an amazing human being. Be curious, turn every stone, ask every why, and keep digging deeply. Discover your own answers. Guys, I could go on about this book. I'm not going to read this whole book to you, but I love this book for so many reasons. One, a lot of things it talks about in this book as being a mom are things that I want to instill into my children. I want my 3 babies to be themselves and to know that they were created to be them in every aspect, in every area, no matter what that means. That I want them to be quirky and different, and I want them to just know who they are and know that you are you, and don't ever let anyone change that. Like, your course may not look like everyone else's course, and that's okay. Like, you march to the beat of your own drum, and don't look to the left and don't look to the right. You just keep your eyes forward and know, like, this is my course and this is what it's supposed to be. And even though it doesn't look like Johnny and Susie and Sally, that's okay. Because like, I'm Olivia, I'm going to sit in what being Olivia means, and I'm going to like do it, right? And so guys, like I said, it's just making me an emotional thing, but I like love this book on so many levels. Even if you don't have kids in your life, I feel like you should get this book. Like I said, I read this book to myself sometimes, y'all. It is just that book. And this week, like, I don't know, I needed some encouragement, and I felt like my kids needed some encouragement. So we sat down, and while they did puzzles, I read to them. This book, like even this page, it says, be connected, find kindred spirits, be with those who make you feel like the real you. This is my favorite. Be persistent. Keep going. Never give up. Keep going. Never stop. Keep going. Never stop. Like, no matter what's going on in life. And I feel like this book was so perfect for what we're going through right now. Like, be you in every time and every season, and never give up. Never change who you are. Like, you are you for a reason, and you were created with all your little quirks and differences. And there's like someone out there that needs you to be you, you know? So yes, I'm gonna stop right there. Those were all the books I read this month, guys. And like I said, there were some that I really loved, and there were some that were kind of like, well, but you know, I feel like that happens with reading. So we're going to take it one day at a time and see where that leads us. So yes, guys, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for listening to me ramble on and on and on about random stuff. But yes, I just pray that as we go into the month of May, that you can find what brings you joy, do those things that bring you joy, and just remember to take it one day at a time. We are in a season of change, and everything around us is changing and evolving, and change is always constant. That's the one thing that you can't get rid of. And just remember to sit in it. Sit in those emotions, sit in what you're feeling, and you know what? We're going to all come out of this on the other side. And one of the things that really I've been thinking about lately, and then I promise y'all I'm done. I'm getting really long-winded, is the other day me and my kids were outside and I was reading, and my kids had ran back inside the house and they kept leaving the door open. And so I was trying to tell them, you have to either stay in or stay out because I don't want bugs in my house. And so I was telling them, and as I turned around to tell my daughter, I was turned around to ask her, are you gonna stay in or are you gonna stay out? At the corner of my eye, I saw a rainbow, and it had kind of been raining that day, and it spoke so much to me because I was wow, that is so amazing that rainbow was there, because it was such a crummy day that day. The weather was terrible, and the rain had stopped for a little second. And so I was let me hurry up and go outside and read, because it wasn't very hot. I'm in Texas, so y'all know it's 99 degrees today, so it's been hot. And it was just a reminder to me that we're in that season of rain when everything around us looks really crazy, and everything is could it get any worse? This is happening and that is happening and all these things. And then when we take that moment to just sit and we turn, there's that rainbow telling us everything is gonna be okay. And it kind of reminds me, without the rain you can't have the rainbow. And it was really funny because the next day we went outside and my daughter was Mommy, I don't see the rainbow. Where's the rainbow? And I explained to her, I was you can't have a rainbow without the rain. That beautiful thing that happened, it's so beautiful, but we can't get to that beauty if we kind of don't do all the gritty, not so beautiful stuff. Sometimes we don't want to do that part, but without that part we don't get this part. So even though things are really crazy right now and it's really gritty, and for some of us, like I said, this has been a time of whoop-de-doo, and for other of us it's been a time of man, I just got to make it through today. I got to make it through Saturday, because that's all I can commit to right now. And guess what? That's okay, because when you make it through Saturday, your rainbow is coming on Sunday. So yes, I just want to encourage you guys. Thank you so much for just listening to this. And like I said, comment down below and let me know, how was everyone's April as far as reading, as far as life? Has this quarantine made you acquire any new skills like me? Like I said, I've become a professional braider and even more of a professional chef. I've just been having to become a lot of things. So yes, I pray that everyone has a good day, and until next time, bye.